Hello.
Yeah, good morning, madam.
Good morning.
Madam, please mute your device. Let's begin the webinar. Yes, with the kind permission of our principal, sir, let me begin the webinar. There is a okay. May Almighty bless everyone with a day of full of joy and happiness. I am Barkatil Halkeri wishing you all a very good and fabulous morning and healthy welcome to all the participants and resource person to this national webinar. Anjuman-e-Islam, Anjuman Art Science Commerce College and PG Studies, Dharwad, Karnataka. A one-day national webinar on the effect of COVID-19 on sports campaign. The resource person of the today's national webinar is Dr. I.M. Makubhai, Physical Education Director, Nehru Degree College, Hubballi. The principal of our college, Dr. N.M. Makandar, Professor R.H. Dodmani, Chairman, Gymkhana Activities, Dr. N.V. Gudaganavar, ICAC Coordinator, Professor I.R. Ekundi, Director, Department of Physical Education and Sports. I welcome all the participants and dignitaries to this national webinar once again. A great morning to one and all. Sports plays a very important role in our life. It is said that education is incomplete without sports. Playing sports builds the personality and character of a person too. Now, I request our
Is it audible? Is it audible? Barkatali, is it audible? Barkatali, is it audible?
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Okay, thank you. On behalf of Anjuman College, on behalf of all the members of staff, both teaching and not teaching, and on the behalf of all the staff, students of our college, I heartily welcome to the today's resource person, my friend, well-wisher, a dynamic sportsman, Dr. I.M. Makkubai, to this webinar. At the same time, I welcome the chairman of this Gymkhana activities of our college, Professor R.H. Dodmani, the senior staff members and head of the Department of Commerce. I have also welcomed our dynamic physical director, Shri I.R. Ekundi, and other and technical person, Professor Barkat Ali, this webinar. Friends, as you know, the topic chosen by physical director is the effect of COVID-19 on the sports campaign. I think this last 2 years it was very badly affected on the health of all the people irrespective of the age because of this COVID-19. How to what extent it is affected, that we are going to listen from our research person. Without wasting the time, once again I welcome all the participants. Maybe the sportsmen people are very close and very dynamic each other. They are showing in all levels how they are close and how they are dynamic. On behalf of the college, I welcome all the sports teachers, all the students, and all the participants wholeheartedly toward this webinar. Over to Barkat Ali.
Sir, thank you so much, sir, for your kind motivational words and guidance support to us. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Professor Oresh Dodmani, Chairman Gymkhana Activities, to introduce our today's resource person. Please, sir, it's go to
Sir,
Professor
is
Oresh Dodmani, sir.
it audible? Barkat Ali, sir, is it audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible, sir.
Okay. Good morning to all of you. Dr. N.M. Makandar, Principal Anjuman Degree College and PG Studies, Dharwad. Dr. I.M. Makubhai, Resource Person. Dr. N.E. Gudagnawar, ICHE Coordinator. Professor I.R. Yakondi, Physical Director. Teacher friends and learned participants. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce at the outset Principal of our college, Dr. N.M. Makandar. Dr. Makandar, born and brought up at Muddebehar of Bijapur district, completed his primary and college education at Muddebehar and M.Com from Karnataka University, Belgaum campus. Immediately after the completion of his PG course, he joined Anjuman College, Dharwad. Since then, he is rendering his valuable services in this college. In course of his service, Dr. Makandar completed MBA and PhD also. Further, he has completed 3 UG projects,
Sir,
UGC sponsored projects, attended number of state, national and international seminars, conferences and workshops, published 99 research papers, authored many books, attended many faculty development programs, guided 4 PhD students and 9 MPhil students, chaired many technical sessions, and served in the college in many capacities, namely served as coordinator, PG studies, served as NSS program officer, student welfare officer, organized 6 seminars. He is member of KUPTA, member of Commerce Association, referee Bhartiyar University, Coimbatore, referee Maulana Azad University, Hyderabad, subject expert Karnataka State Higher Education Academy, served as Deputy Superintendent, NET and KSET examination, served as Deputy Superintendent, Gramina Officers Recruitment Examination, and apart from that, he has served as Assistant Returning Officer, Anjuman Islam election in 2015, and served as vote counting in charge, Anjuman Islam election, Dharwad in 2020. With this brief introduction, I place before you Dr. N.M. Makandar, Principal of Anjuman Degree College, Dharwad. Now, it is honor for me to introduce today's resource persons, Dr. I.M. Makubhai, Physical Education Director of Nehru College, Hubballi, a very young, dynamic and versatile personality. Dr. Makubhai completed his primary and college education in Hubballi city of Dharwad district. His educational and technical qualifications are really commendable and noteworthy.
thank you.
He
Thank you,
has
sir. Thank
completed BA, MA, Diploma in Computer Science, ITI. As far as his technical qualifications are concerned, he has 2 PhDs to his credit. That is a PhD awarded from Dravidian University, Andhra Pradesh. Then second PhD from Baba Saheb Ambedkar University, Aurangabad, Maharashtra. Apart from that, he has completed BPEd, MPEd as a rank holder, then IAS, NIS, Football Diploma in Sports Coaching, Patiala, Punjab, and MPhil also. As far as the teaching experience are concerned, he has worked as guest lecturer in MPEd, Department of Karnataka University, Dharwad, worked as the Chief External Examination TOD, rendered services as Selection Committee Convener, member of TOD, worked as Physical Education Dharwad at Karnataka Christian College, Hubli, work as guest physical education teacher and sports coach at many schools of Dharwad district, work as football coach, SAK, at present working as physical education director at Nehru Degree College, Kantigeri, Uppalli. Now, as far as the international achievements of today's resource persons are concerned, he has attended international online conference, host, anchor, and language translator for World Football Foot Valley Tournament in November 2021. India with Portugal, Russia, Nepal, Bangladesh, Israel, United States of America in the month of October 2020. The Student Olympic Association of India appointed as a football men team coach for the 5th International Football Tournament, August 2019 at Thailand country. Produced 17 international sports persons from Hubli city, Karnataka, India. Chaired the session and presented a research paper at international conference and seminar, which is being published in the journals. Successfully coached Indian 7A side junior football boys team in 2005. India defeated Sri Lanka country by 1-0 goal margin. Officiated at the TV10 International Football Men Tournament 4 times at Mudgod 2009, Bailat Kupa 2010, Mudgod 2011, and Mudgod 2016. His achievements are innumerable. To name them few, participated in many national level football tournaments at different states of the country. My trainees, both male and female sports persons, have successfully participated at national, state, university, division, and district level tournaments, played and won many prizes at Karnataka state level athletic, cricket, ball badminton, tennis, and football competitions tournament respectively. Represented Karnataka University Dharwad football team, University Blue, for continuously 4 times in a row from 1994 to 1998, once lead the team in 1997, officiated at 35th Women's National Football Championship in May, June 2013 at Rajgarh, Rajasthan, and also at 36th November 2014, Gai, Uttar Pradesh. Apart from that, as far as our resource person is concerned, he has many credit to his side as far as the academic is concerned, and he has office bearers of many bodies, to name them few. He is Honorable Vice President of Foot Valley Association of India, Delhi, Joint Secretary of Women's Football Federation of India, Uttar Pradesh, General Secretary of Foot Valley Association of Karnataka, then Karnataka State Football Association, Governing Board and founding member of Dharwad District Football Association, Dharwad. He is General Secretary of Dharwad District Softball Association. He is Honorable General Secretary of Dharwad District Student Olympic Association. He is General Secretary of Physical Education Foundation of India, Dharwad District. And he is also Honorable General Secretary of Dharwad District Football 7A Side Association. Now, as far as the qualified official coach is concerned, he has coached as far as football is concerned, athletics, tennis, throw ball, tennis, ball badminton, sepak takraw, cricket, hockey disciplines, and career guidance. Now he has many awards to his credit, to name them few. The national level Dr. Abdul Kalam Lifetime Achievement Award in the field of sport 2011 at Bangalore. The national level Sadhana Award in the field of sports on the occasion of 62nd birthday of Tipu Sultan 2012 at Bijapur, Karnataka. The national level Aishwarya Vishwa Vidyalaya Social Spiritual Organization Award 2014 at Hubli, Karnataka. The national level Bharat Ratna Bapuji Award 2014 at Bangalore. There is a long list of such awards. Apart from that, last but not the least, Dr. Irshad Ahmad Makubhai is the only person from entire South Karnataka to have 2 doctorate of philosophy degrees in physical education subject. With this brief introduction, I place before you Dr. I.M. Makubhai. Over to Parkatit.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for introducing the today's resource person, Dr. I.M. Makubhai, sir. The great academics record we can see through your introduction presented by Professor R.H. Dodmani, sir, and thank you so much, sir, once again. Sports helps a person to control heart diseases, diabetes, weight loss, improves muscle strength, enhance mental capacity, increases level of confidence, also better physique. So one should play games or involve in sports activities to be healthy. Now, the main agenda of this today's national webinar, the presentation on the effect of COVID-19 on sports campaign. Now I request our today's resource person, Dr. I.M. Makubhai, Physical Education Director, Nehru Degree College, Hubli, to present the topic on effect of COVID-19 on sports campaign. Please, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I take this privilege and honor to thank the entire team of Anjuman-e-Islam's Nehru Arts, Science, Commerce College and PG Studies, Dharwad, Karnataka. May I request you, sir, to please make Afrin Jahan as the host so that she can share the PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have done, sir.
You have done?
Yes.
You can just see whether it has been shared out.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Now, you have not made her host, sir. Afrin Jahan, you please make her host.
Okay, fine. Wait, sir. Please wait, sir. So now, Makubhai, sir,
Sir,
I have made you host. So you please go on Anjuman Shining. On that, you
I am, sir,
give back to me
sir,
as a
1
host.
minute. You make Afrin Jahan, who has joined the webinar, as the host so that she can share my PPT.
Sir, actually, I have made you as a host. So you have to return back to me so that I can make. You just
where I have to go for that?
Anjuman Shining Dharwad is there, no? In participants, Anjuman Shining Dharwad.
Okay.
Under that, more option is there. More.
Yeah. Okay.
Click that.
Remove. Should I more?
Make a
Supporting
host.
stop video.
Make a host.
Where it is? It's now mute chart spotlight. Make host. Okay.
Make host. You make host, sir.
So I have made you host, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Now I will transfer to Afrin Jahan.
Okay, please do so.
Yes, it's done, sir. You can continue, sir. Now.
It's done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You just see whether my PPT has been shared.
Not yet,
Sir, you have not done it, sir.
Yes, done, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Open kare na wo. You just check, sir, whether.
Yeah, it's visible, sir. Your PPT is visible.
Okay, then. Okay. Thank you very much once again to you all for the warm welcome. So we'll start the topic without wasting the time. Next slide. So first, before jumping to the main agenda, we will come to know what is COVID, which has played a tremendous role in last 2 years. This COVID-19, as we all know, I will try to refresh your knowledge again with this webinar. This COVID-19 transmits when people breathes in the air, contaminated by the droplets and small airborne particles. The risk of breathing, may I request all the participants to kindly mute. Please do mute. Thank you. The risk of breathing these in a highest when people are in close proximity, when they can inhale over a longer distance, particularly in indoors when they are very near. So as we all know, the transmission can also occur if the splashes or the sprayed with the contaminant fields in the eyes, nose, or mouth, rarely via contaminated surfaces. People retain contagious for up to 20 days and can spread the virus even if they do not develop any symptoms as well. Several testing methods has been developed to diagnose the diseases. The standard diagnosis methods used by the detective of the virus, the nucleic acid by real-time reverse transcriptions polymerase chain reaction, as we call in a short RRT-PCR. This transmission mediator amplification, TMA, or by a transcription lock mediation, isotomal amplification, that is RT-LAMP in short known form, which has been used for several testing methods for this COVID-19. The prevention methods include the physical or the social distancing, quarantining, ventilation of indoor spaces, covering cough and sneezes, hand washing, and keeping unwashed hands away from the face. The use of face masks or covering has been recommended in public setting to minimize the risk of transmission. While work is underway to develop drugs that inhibit in virus and several viruses for it has been approved and distributed in various countries, which have since initiated mass vaccination campaigns as we see today. The primary treatment in symptomatic. Let me bring you the knowledge of the globe as today there are 192 crore 2,84,200
There is a small technical issue. Kindly wait us to respond from Mrs. Person.
ये कनेक्टेड प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रहा है ये नहीं चल रहा
Makubai sir.
ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನು?
Respected participants, let us wait for a few minutes. There is a technical issue. Sir is not present here now. We'll call and connect soon.
That is sports. As well as for the social development, its role is well recognized by the government, including in the political declaration of the Future 2030 agenda, which reflects on the contribution sports makes the empowerment of women and of young people, the individuals as well as the communities, as well as to the health education and also for the social inclusion objectives. Since its onset, the COVID-19 pandemic has spread to almost all countries of the world. The social and physical distancing measures, the lockdowns of business, the schools and the colleges, overall social life, which have become commonplace to settle the spread of the disease, have also disrupted many regular aspects of life, including sports and physical activity. This policy brief highlights the COVID-19 has posters to both the sporting world and the physical activity as well as for the well-being, including for the marginalized and vulnerable groups. It further provides the recommendations for the government and other stockholders as well as for the United Nations systems to support the safe reopening of the sports events as well as to support physical activity during the pandemic and its beyond. If we talk about the immunity and the sports, although moderate levels of the exercise can boost overall immunity, intensive and the prolonged physical exertion has been linked with the open windows of compared immunity up to 72 hours after the exercise. Common infections for athletes mostly compromises of the dermatological related infections, especially in the contact sports like football, hockey, and so on and so forth. The upper respiratory threats, infections, and the gastrointestinal infections. The coronavirus is the respiratory pathogen, and the previous studies have shown that the risk of upper respiratory tract infections was also 6 times more likely to endurance race. The underlying mechanism is not only the understood, although most studies suggest exercise significantly influences accurate immunity, while evidence about the role of exercise on immunity is less inclusive. As the virus also found in stool samples, the contaminated environments such as soil may pose a threat to outdoor sports events. There are still unknown regarding the relationship of immunity and sports. Therefore, experts are still researching on the role of psychological factors, especially during the explanations, as well as during the competitions. As one of the large knowledge traps regarding the topic of infection control during the global pandemic, our focus is not whether these infections hampers athletic performance, but lays in the assessment of the risk of the player getting infected if they participate in sports, and measures on how to reduce the rate risk of the transmission. Of our experience in a local top tiers league, will illustrate the measures that were taken and the rationale behind them. The risk of virus transmission during the football game, for example, I wish to place in before. Avoiding contact and good personal hygiene are the key prevention infection transmissions. However, bodily contact is inevitably in football matches as well as in the training as well as in the competitions. In addition, infection risky behaviors such as spitting and touching the face are not uncommon during the football game. To quantify this transmission risky behavior, we obtain video footage of many footballers, professionals with dedicated cameras for the entire match. We tracked the time of close bodily contact, defined as the interpersonal distance of less than 1.5 meters, and frequency of infection risky behavior, that is touching the mouth, touching the eyes, touching the nose, and splitting. The results are high appreciated with that concerned study. The main close contact time for each footballer was 19.3 meters for the duration of 19 minutes. The range stands 5.5 to 35.5. Although this may seem less than other close contact sports, such those with the smaller courts or close compact sports, the infection risky behavior were indeed observed in football players. There were an average of 52 episodes of infection risky behaviors per 90 minutes of professional football match. This 166 reaffirms that playing football continually poses an infection transmission risk. If you have a look on this glance, this is a globe review sports industry glance where we see the percentage stands for 23%, as well as for sports retails it is 36. If we talk about the clubs and the gym fees, it has been reduced to 15%. The infrastructure and food, beverage and ticketing on to 20. This corona on sporting events and the implications for social development. Let me bring you to a kind notice that to safeguard the health of athletes and other involved, most major sporting events at international, regional, and the national levels have been cancelled or it has been postponed. From marathons to football tournament, athletics championship to the basketball games, handball to ice hockey, rugby to cricket, sailing, skating to weightlifting, and wrestling, and many more. The Olympics, Tokyo 2020, and the Paralympics, for the first time in the history of modern games, have been postponed and till as we are witnessing it in the month of July and August 2021. The global value of the sports industries is esteemed to $756 annually. The fact of COVID-19, many millions of jobs were therefore at risk globally, not only for the sports professional, but also for those in related retail and sporting services industries connected with leagues and events, which includes travel, tourism, infrastructure, transportation, catering, and media broadcasting, among others. Professional athletes are also under pressure to reschedule their training while trying to stay fit at home, and they risk losing professional sponsors who may not support them as they initially agreed. In addition to the economical repercussion, the cancellation of the games also impacts many social benefits of global and regional sports events, which can commence social cohesion, contribution to the social and emotional excitement of fans, as well as their identification with athletes, leading to greater physical activity of an individual. Sports has long been considered a valuable tool for forecasting communications and building bridges between the communities and the generations. Through sports, various social groups are available to play more central roles toward the social transformation and the development, particularly in the dividend societies. Within this content, sports is used as a tool for creating learning opportunities and accessing often marginal or at-risk populations. Next slide. The growth and value of the world's biggest sports clubs. I will like to bring some of the professional sports clubs. You can say the values as the Manchester United, the well-known football club. You can see the Real Madrid with a 3.2 billion of US dollars, where you see little bit higher by Real Madrid again. It was in the year 2014. If you glance to 2015, you can just see what was the amount. And when you come till 2019, the Dallas Boys, as it is 5 billions to the US dollars. The impact of COVID-19 of physical activity and well-being. It has a very huge part been played with for COVID-19. The end resulted of the closure of the gymnasiums, the stadiums have been closed, the pools, the dancing and the fitness studios, including the physiotherapy centers, the parks and the playgrounds, which has been shut down. Many individuals are therefore not able to participate in their regular individuals or group sporting or physical activity outside of their homes. Under such conditions, many tend to be less physical active. Longer screening time, irregular sleep patterns, as well as worse diets, resulting in weight gain, the obesity, and the less of physical fitness. Low-income families are especially vulnerable to to negotiate efforts to stay at home. Rules that they tend to have substandard accommodations and more conformed spaces, making it difficult to engage in physical exercises. The World Health Organization recommended, as I have told you, the 150 minutes of moderate intensity for 75 minutes of vigorous intensive physical activities per week. The 5 benefits of such periodical exercises and proven to be very helpful, especially in the time of anxiety, crisis and fear. These are the concerns where that the concerns of the pandemic, the lack of access to regular supporting of exercise routine may result in a challenging to the immunity system, the physical health, including by leading to the commencement of the exacerbating exercises diseases that have their roots in the sedentary lifestyle. Lack of access to exercise and physical activity can also have mental health impacts, which can compound stress, you can call it as anxiety as well, that many will experience in the face of isolation from normal social life. The possible loss of the family or friends from the virus and impact of the virus on one's economical well-being and the access to nutrition will exacerbate these effects. For many, existing at home without any equipment and limited space can still be a problem. We will talk about the big fishes, the postponement of the big events. It may be the Tokyo 20, it may be the championship of the Wimbledon tennis, it may be the ICC T20 World Cup, which used to be scheduled in Australia 2020. It has been postponed, including the IPL, which has been postponed in between. If you talk about the football, the Euro 2020, the championship originally scheduled to be taken place from June 12 to July 12, 2020, was postponed by a year to June 11 to July 11, as we saw it live. The Tokyo Olympics, as it is in progress, the 2020 Summer Olympics to be held in Tokyo was one of the first major sporting event to be called off. After much speculation, it was announced that the Tokyo 2020 Olympics would be postponed to this month and the next month of this same year. The games are on as we witness it daily. For sports lovers around the world, the 2020 has been a major turnoff. The sports calendar went for a toss thanks to the COVID pandemic. Almost all the major events were either cancelled or postponed, as I told. And fortunately, the decisions of the concerned bodies have been taken and they are being organized and they are going to be organized in the future as well. We talk about the tennis. The Wimbledon, considered to be the most coveted of all the Grand Slams in the tennis, was called off in April. The championship was rescheduled to be held from June 29 to July 12. It is the first time since the Second World War that this championship has been cancelled and postponed. If we talk about the cricket, the International Cricket Council, which we know as ICC, totally confirmed that the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2020 that was postponed due to the COVID-19 will be held in Australia in 2022. Having a glance of this graph with impacts of the American fans. If you see the continue to play with the fans in the attendance, the 33% have gone to a 7% in today's day. The cancellation, if you have in a venue, it percent is 54. The stadiums organizes the competitions, it may be the individual or the team events. It has been 38% in empty stadiums. So you can also witness many more. The image itself shows that this is of the cricket discipline. The BBCI stand says we would be losing. I would like to bring for all the concern that the BBCI is losing 2,000 to 2,500 crore through its broadcasting and sponsorship money for the midway postponement of this season for the year's IPL, that is Indian Premier League. I would say something in the range of 2,200 crores will be closer to an accurate estimate, the senior BBC official told as he gave the information. On the average of BBCI earns 67 crores from every match broadcast. Kindly note it out, it is 67 crores which BBCI earns per each match which has been broadcasted. It earns rupees 4 crores from the IPL and was expected to earn a similar in this 2021, which is going to be scheduled very soon. Of the 195 students, a survey is made, 71% indicated increased stress and anxiety. Multiple stimulants were identified, the contribution, the health and the love, that is 91%. They reported negative impacts of the pandemic and the difficulty in concentrating. It is 173 to 195, that is 89%. They are unable to concentrate. The description of sleeping patterns we have surveyed, it is of 168 students, 100 out of 195, the percentage again stands 68. The decrease of social interaction due to the physical distancing, 165 students have been affected with 195 out of, which again stands 85%. And it increases concern on academic performances. 195 out of 195, 159 out of 195 students, the percentage of 82. The cope with the stress and anxiety, participants have sought support of others and helped themselves by adopting either negative or positive coping mechanism. The overestimated economical impact of the mega sports events. The sports which has impact on the economy. After the event has been taken place, usually net economical impact of the event turns out to be far less impressive and something even negative. For example, of a prevention of 5 summer Olympics, at least 3 medals. The Sydney Olympics 2000, the Athens 2004, and Rio 2016. The Athens 2004, partly responsible for the economical crisis that hit the country extremely hard by 5 years later. 21 out of 22 venues were no longer used. Montreal 176, gigantic loss led to its citizens paying extra taxes for the decades. Multiple recent World Cycling Championship battle loss, for example, Ponferrada 2014 and Bargain 2017. The gigantic loss of Bargain 2017 has put the Norwegian Cycle Federation in such a financial distress that it needed government's support. The COVID-19, which has affected for the sports industries, the sports as an important economical sector in the form of its leagues, teams, sponsors, investors, media are suffering with this COVID-19 crisis. Competition been cancelled, as I told before, and extended. Matches with closer gates and leagues decided in simply paralyzed these activities. Sports industries indirected and induced effects by sports value calculations for every US $1 generated directly with the professional sports leagues can reach up to 2.5 US dollars produced in indirect and economic induced effects. If you talk about its losses will be inevitable. According to Forbes, the big professional sports leagues will lose 5 billion US dollars in revenues. KPMG predicted that top 5 European leagues will lose other 4.5 billion US dollars in revenues. Losses, gate receipts, broadcasting, rights, products, salaries, sponsorship, and whatnot. The sports values prediction shows that professionalism sports sectors will lose more than 15 billion US dollars with this COVID-19 effects. 9.0% of all sports pro revenues, 2% of global sports. The graph itself educates you that how it affects the economical growth. It is, if you take to the global, you can just have a glance for the Indian economical growth as well. The Chinese, the Netherlands, the Spain, the United States of America, England, France, so on and so forth. So the graph itself reduces the economical growth, and some of them, especially the Italians, have reversed back. If we talk about the effect of this COVID on the employability, it has triggered one of the worst job crises since the Great Depression. There is a real danger that the crisis will increase poverty and widen inequalities. With the impact felt for years to come, countries now need to do everything they can to stop this job crisis from turning into a social crisis. Reconstructing a better and more resilient labor market is an essential investment in the future and in the future generation as well. This is the latest OECD work for the impact of COVID-19 on the employment and jobs, along with OECD recommendations and policy advance on how best to bridge to recover pace of this COVID infection. The unemployment rate stands at 12.4% in urban, 15.1% in rural, 11.2% till this July 2021. We noted that small towns and rural areas were not very affected by the COVID-19 pandemic till last year. But during the second phase, as we have witnessed, it has split over these areas, also affecting employment situation. Now let us have a look at how the pandemic has impacted the employment situation in India. The income of some 97% households have declined since the outbreak of the pandemic this year. The unemployment rate stands at 12.4%, as I have told, and it has varied from rural to urban. This graph, which shows the impact of the unemployment rate due to the coronavirus, you can see, if you start from January 20, the rate of unemployment was 7.22. So again, it has gone up. So it has raised to the maximum level of 21.73% as we see in January 20 as it reached to 6.5%. The effects of the COVID on education. This pandemic has affected educational system worldwide, leading to the near total closures of schools, colleges, early childhood education and care, services, universities, and many more. Most government decided to temporarily close the educational institution in an attempt to reduce the spread of COVID-19. As of 12 January of this year, approximately 825 million learners are certainly affected due to school closures in response to the pandemic. So there are 825 million persons who has been affected for the schools closures. 23 countries are certainly implementing national-wide closures and 40 are implementing local closures, impacting about 47% of the world's students' population. 112 countries' schools are certainly open. On 23 March already, Cambridge International Examination CA released a statement announcing the cancellation of Cambridge O-level, Cambridge International, A-level, Cambridge Diploma examination of many last year has been postponed across the country. The International Baccalaureate examination also been cancelled. In addition, Advanced Placement Examination, CAT administration and ACT administration have been moved online or many have been stand for its cancellation. Early childhood education and care as well as the school colleges closures not only impact students, teachers and family but have far-reaching economical and social consequences. Social endeavors in response to pandemic have shed light to various social economical issues, including the students' debt, digital learning, as well as the access to child care, healthcare, housing, internet, and disability services. The impact of most savants and disadvantaged in child and the families causing interrupted learning, compromises nutrition, childcare problems, and consequently the economical cost of families who could not work. In response to schools closures, the recommended UNESCO, the use of distance learning programs and open educational applications and platforms that schools and teachers can use to teach remotely and limit the disruptions of education. The impact of coronavirus on the higher education also plays a very important role. Universities and colleges composes as places where students live and study in close proximity to each other. They have also sizzling culture hubs where students are brought together from national around the world. The foundation of this unique ecosystem have impacted significantly by the rapid spread of this coronavirus outbreak, creating uncertainty regarding the implications for higher education. As I told, the mental stress issues are the leading impediments and academic success. Mental illness can affect students' motivation, their concentration, and also social interaction, They're crucial factors for students to succeed in the higher education. So this graph shows how this COVID has affected the education in the globe. As it is from 25, as we bring out to the last line, that is 23, 1.38 billions. These are the numbers which has been affected by the national school closures worldwide. The effects of outbound students' mobility, 70 some impact on outbound, that is 73%. If you see no impact on the outdoor students' mobility, that is 17%, and not sure without result, it is 10%. Some impacts on outdoor outfit staff has been 54%, where 20% is for the impact on outboard staff mobility and 20% which the service said it is not being showed off. The impact of COVID-19 on the business of sports. At the beginning of 2020, no athletes, no fan, no organizers would have imaginated that the match, let alone tournament, in this entirety, will be held behind the closed doors in empty stadiums and the quiet atmosphere. However, the pandemic brought the sporting world to the standstill. While live sports have gradually resumed over the past few months, it is only under the strict health guidelines and without fans, as you all are watching every match without or minimum fans available in the stands. The gravity of the circumstances can ascertain from the fact that the International Football Association Board, IFAB, mandated that it is the event player in the form to be baking or inliability coughing, he or she would be penalized with a red card caution, object to the discretion of the referees. The International Cricket Council also amended that playing conditions regulations to ban use of salvia by players to shine the cricket ball. However, the players can use sweat to shine the ball. While new rules emerged on the hand, the technological advancement has made use of create a pre-COVID era stadium atmosphere and a unique way to create a viewer's experience emerge. Danish football club partnered with video conferencing companies Zoom for one match initiative. Before the match, the AJFA asked its fans to sign for virtual tickets in the section of the stadium where they would normally sit, and then grouped them together on video calls of up for the 18 people. Let me bring you one example of our Indian, the Jalandhar Sports Company. The sports goods manufacturing hub, the Jalandhar produced nearly 70% of total Indian sports goods and is a leading name in nation and international brands of cricket, hockey, football, rugby, and fitness range. Lack of payment to dealers, distributors, corporates would affect the ability of manufacturers to pay dues to the employees. We have requested many of them with the form of payment to the manufacturers related to the government tenders. Orders should be expedited once lockdown ends. As sports industry is a labor-oriented, we would want the government to solve local employment and industry. Waiving or determined of the local taxes and minimum electricity charges for the period till the corporation stands is the must. The traders also mentioned that the sports industry was facing around 2 to 3 crore loss in business every day. The industry are losing 2 to 3 crores every day. I have listed 5 scenarios, the 5 scenarios for the post-coronavirus sports industries will accumulate the prolonged shift in how sports is structured and how it is consumed. Structural changes that have been demanded for many years and consumption shifts that have been helping slowly since the dawn of the digital age. The 5 scenarios which I have listed are the restoration. This plays very important role. Tied by exciting models and commitments, right holders and their partners painstakingly reassembled the old order as pent-up demand injects values back into the industry. Number 2, the reset. The COVID-19 shock brings new organizations and actors to force the re-examine how sport to be run, creating different power structures and new ways of rethinking. The restraint. The global economical depression and this triggered return to the action creates overwhelming financial challenges for the sports industry, while the pause in events and participation hits potential audience. If you see the 4th one, the realignment. While sports output and consumption stay on much the same path, shortfall in cash gives more power to venture capital and sovereign wealth funds and brings new alliance into play. Last one, the refresh. We have to be refreshed ourselves. The technology and the fresh ideas change the diversity of live events, media consumption, and sponsorship acquisitions as the fan moves to the center. Let me conclude. Finally, the impact of sports on the COVID-19 pandemic on sports cannot be determined at this stage. However, the information that we gathered may provide valuable audience to the athletics and governing committees to move forward safely. COVID-19 is highly transmissible in sporting environments due to its variability, long incubation period, and milder symptoms, especially in contact sports. The essential prevention measures, including minimizing human-to-human contact and practicing proper personal hygiene. Athletes on field, own risk behavior should avoid it to minimum unnecessary infection as close contact with others is unavoidable during contact sports. The decisions to resume sports events should correlate to the local number of cases, and strict infection measures will need to be implemented at the earliest phases of inception. Exercise with a frame mask definitely has a toll on the human body, and it is advised to adjust the exercise intensity when masked, if possible. Sports and exercises may be important, especially for competitive athletes, but safety is still paramount. Everyone should practice safe sports with the appropriate measures and prevent the further transmission of the COVID-19 pandemic, following all the government laws, rules which they govern. So with this, I conclude my presentation. I take this opportunity to thank Anjuman Islam's Anjuman Arts, Science, Commerce College and PG Studies, Dharwad, Karnataka, the principal sir, the chairman for Gymkhana activities, the IQAC coordinator, and the director of physical education. I thank them wholeheartedly for giving me this opportunity, and I pray Almighty to shower special blessings on them as they are facing the NAC. Hope and sure in the coming days, your esteemed institution will be rated more higher than what it had been before. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. N.M. Makandar, sir, the dynamic principal. Once again, thank to Professor R.H. Dodmani, sir, Dr. Yanvi Udanawar, sir, and my professional colleague, mate, my guide, my touching guide, Professor I.R. Ekondi, sir. I thank
Thank you, sir.
each one of you. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Sir, I request make a post to me. Sir, thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful presentation on impact of COVID-19 on. You have explained on various fields how it impacted on sports, higher education, including sports industry and many more. The really the neat and clear presentation with the statistical data about loss during pandemic, graphical, statistical and pictorial information was really appreciable. The presentation was really extraordinary and marvelous, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your neat presentation.
Thank you very much.
As we all know that sound mind in a sound body, if the body is strong and fit, then automatically a person will be mentally strong. So let us give a healthy opportunities to our students so that they can grow mentally as well as physically strong. So now I request Afreen Madam to make me as a host.
She has made you host, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. No, not that one. Sir, tell Madam to make Anjuman Shining Dharwad that as a host. Anjuman Shining Dharwad.
Yes, she has made that itself as a host.
Dr. Makubai sir,
Yes, sir.
your presentation was excellent. And thank you very much for your elaborative and very specific and very informative session that you had interacted in a very nice way. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much, Nabi, sir. Nice of you. Thanks.
of July. For this competition, this team of 40 students has developed an improved hyper
Makubhai sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, tell Afrin madam to make post as Anjuman Shining Dharwad.
Anjuman Shining Dharwad only. You are the host now, sir.
No, sir. The host is now the Anjuman Arts Science Commerce College Dharwad. Not that one. Anjuman Shining Dharwad.
Sir, you should tell. Sir, she has made host for Anjuman Science. You ask them to make you host. She can't do it now.
Okay, fine.
The team is working on a detailed study of energy, cost, and other Bangalore and Chennai. The ability of hybrid in this third iteration of the design. Most systems in the board are based on entirely.
Now I request Dr. Professor Ayar Ekundi to present a word of thanks of this national webinar.
Good afternoon, honorable EB members and all the members of management, esteemed principal, respected teachers, participants, delegates, and my dear students. I am Professor I.R. Ekundi, Fiscal Education Director, privileged to proper vote of thanks. A warm and cherished afternoon to all the participants from the various states and valued as well as active resource person of today's national webinar. Dr. I.M. Makubhai, Physical Education Director, Nehru Degree College, Hubballi. First of all my sincere thanks to Almighty Allah making today a event grand success. My sincere thanks to President, Vice President, Education Boards members of Anjuman Islam Dharwad for their kind support and guidance. Thank you, sir. On behalf of Anjuman Islam Dharwad, Principal Dr. N.M. Makandar, ICAC Coordinator Dr. N.V. Budagnavar, I extend wholehearted thanks and gratitude to Dr. I.M. Makubhai for amazing presentation. Thank you, sir. I would also extend my gratitude to our beloved principal, Dr. N.M. Makandar, ICAC Coordinator, N.V. Budagnavar, Jamkhana Activities Chairman, Professor R.S. Durmani, and Professor Barkat Ali Halkeri for their active involvement in concluding the national webinar. I also express my wholehearted gratitude thanks to all the delegates, participants from the various states, students from different colleges, and teaching and non-teaching staff. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, sir. I once again thank you all, and I also congratulate Mirabai Charu, the lone till-time Olympian medalist for India. I congratulate and thank her for making us proud. Thank you very much to you all.
Thank you, sir.